great to see Sure Thing bounce back 71 days, a little freshen up there and back into some fantastic form. David Smith now potentially looking at a Kalgoorlie sprint as well.
Yeah, well, he's been a bit of a revelation for David Smith, hasn't he, this horse? He burst onto the scene down in Esperance. He was smashing the clock and smashing his rivals down there. He went to town. He ran well in graduation company. I like the fact that they had at least had a crack with him at doing so, and now he's dominating here on the Goldfield. So he's a pretty exciting horse to have in the stable, and given he was fresh today, had to absorb a stack of pressure in the run, but won pretty softly on the line.
Absolutely right, and as Jagsy suggested as well, Troy Turner post-race will only benefit from that run as well, so really exciting to see where they head to and what they're able to produce as a stable. The stable is getting in some great form as well. A Mirror Girl, that was a massive run earlier on. You touched on that obviously with Troy Turner as well, and Strike Now goes around here. We just see has headed out on course early there, but it's Tats Cup time, Riley. It's the feature on today's program over the 1600 metres. It's really exciting times here in Kalgoorlie. It's really the door opener, I guess, and the kickstarter to what's going to be a massive round.
Yeah, it does. It's a good way of putting it, I think, Tess. It kickstarts what is to come. We have, obviously, the Boulder Cup still to come as well, the Coolgardie Cup, the Coolgardie Sprint, and that leads into the racing round, which is going to be upon us before we know it. But this is a really competitive race. You can make a genuine case, as I said a little bit earlier on our coverage, for a number of runners in this field, and I'm not sure the market knows which way it wants to go either, because Feuding's been very well supported and in some places his favourite in this race, and there's been a lot of love for Decoration as well, given he's 2 from 2 here at Kalgoorlie and loves racing here. Last year's winner, Uncompromised, I think you can be very forgiving of his run first up. He clearly just didn't handle those very rain-affected conditions that were presented here at Kalgoorlie. I thought he was the class of the race. There's no surprise to see him bounce back as well and throw in a pretty classy staying type of a mare like Ryewood off a freshen up, as we've seen. Freshening up some of these horses at this time of the year can be exactly what they're looking for. We saw it with Sure Thing in the previous, and now Ryewood, off a 78-day let up, is back at the races today. We know she's got the quality to win a race like this as well, so it's a really good feature on the program.
Absolutely right. Very competitive and exciting to see where some of these horses do head to after this program and race is done as well. But the Goldfields Tattersalls Club Cup, should I say, over the 1600 metres is our feature. It's the $30,000 feature on today's program. Runners aren't yet in the yard, but
a little bit late into the yard.
They are a little bit, aren't they? But as mentioned, we have got one horse in Strike Now who has headed out to the barriers early. But let's chat speed map side of things now, Riley. How do we see things playing out from a speed perspective?
Thought Decoration would have the speed to kick through and lead from barrier 1 Tess. The tactics change was fired in from Brett Drury as well. That high pressure with Alex Hearn on board will be looking to roll forward and hold a position over the speed. If he can leave the barriers cleanly, that remains to be seen. It hasn't been his strong point over the course of this preparation, but he does seem to get on quite well with Alex, and Alex does seem to be able to get him out of the barriers. So if he can leave the barriers cleanly, he'll roll forward, and there isn't a lot of other speed outside of that in this race, to be honest. I think they'll just find their positions. Uncompromised will look for a spot in the first 5 or 6 in running as well, and I think we'll see a horse like Ryewood get back in running. Feuding's always midfield. He doesn't have a lot of tactical speed, but with Holly Noddle on board today, claiming 3 kilos, he's not going to know himself with that weight that he carries, so it wouldn't surprise me to see him settle a pair or 2 closer in running.
Be very interesting, and all will be told very soon. Runners have now just started to enter the yard here, so we'll kick off our preview with the one in Uncompromised, Helen Harding and Zephyr Johnson Porter.
He was the winner of this race 12 months ago, so we know that he can turn up today and get the job done, Tess, as he has been able to do it before. He was a forgive run for mine first up here in the Boulder Cup. He clearly just didn't handle the track conditions on the day. He ran 10th, and it was a disappointing performance, but if you can rule a line through that, he's got some pretty impressive form on the board for a race of this nature. We know he's raced well in town in pretty strong company. He was a 70-plus winner at Esperance at the back end of last preparation as well, over 1,400 metres. For mine, he's the class of the race when he's at his best. He maps for a good run from barrier 5. He should be able to find a position in the first 4 or 5 in running. Has that run under the belt now. Traditionally improved second up as well. He's got terrific second up record over the course of his career. I think he looks a big improver, and I think he's over the odds at 20 to 1.
Exactly right. $19 and $4 the place there. So one for the novelties for sure. Verlaine's the stablemate is the 2 and Rocky Chong goes aboard.
Ran last in that Kambalda Cup on that soft 6 track, beaten 17.5 lengths, was pretty well beaten in 70 plus company prior to that as well. I just don't think he's going well enough to be featuring in this at the moment.
The 3 is our favourite. Decoration, as mentioned, does love Kalgoorlie is 2 from 2 here. $2.60. Dan and Ben Pearce and Tash Faithful.
As we have mentioned, yes, Tess does love it here at Kalgoorlie. 2 from 2 was a strong winner, tough winner on Kalgoorlie Cup Day over last year's round, and came to this track 2 meetings ago and got the job done in pretty dominant fashion as well over the 1760 metres. Went back to town last start, just had to do too much work sitting outside the lead, outside Lord Gannicus, and probably undid himself as a result of that. That wasn't the best version of him. Gets back to his favoured track, draws barrier 1, Tash Faithful jumps back on board. Should be able to kick through and find the front and dictate terms here in front. I will say though, he is worse off 4 kilos to feuding for their last meeting, and Feuding was only a length and a half behind him, so that's a pretty good weight swing in the favour of another galloper here. But given the fact that he's going to be in front and he's going to stay out of any trouble, I think the ball's in his court.
The 4 is High Pressure, was a winner 3 starts back. Brett Drury, Alex Hearn.
The tactics change was fired in that he's going to be ridden on pace if possible today if he can leave the barriers cleanly. From what we have seen from him in his career, his best is certainly good enough to be competitive in this race. He was a 70-plus winner only 3 starts ago. It wasn't a bad effort in that Kambalda Cup. Ran 6th. Never was able to work into the race. Drew very wide on that occasion and just had to get too far back in running. The mile might stretch him here. Not sure that's his pet trip, but he has had a crack at it previously and has run into the money. So I wouldn't say he's an impossibility of seeing it out strongly, but I do think it's going to stretch him. But if he can get away cleanly and find a position over the speed, he's certainly a place hope.
The 5 is Ryewood. His first up here today, Peter Fernie, Braden Garth.
She's a pretty quality staying type of a mare for the Goldfields Test. We've seen her go to town and run well as well. She wasn't able to do that last start, but she has been freshened up 78 days, as we mentioned, from that disappointing 6 at Pinjarra behind Zaza Rock. She's run 4th in a 66-plus staying contest behind Simply, beaten only 4 lengths. She was a winner in this company over the mile 2 starts ago, defeating Feuding on that occasion. My only slight concern with her being is the map and how far back she is going to get from barrier 7. We haven't seen them make up too much ground here at the KBRC this afternoon. The gap between runs, it's not a traditional sort of a spell. They've given her a nice, decent let up and they bring her back to the races. Whether she's going to be forward enough, she should carry some residual fitness. That remains to be seen. If she's ready to go, you have to be very respecting of her.
The 6 is Feuding, has been very, very consistent, loves Kalgoorlie, Peter Fernie and Holly Noddle.
I think it's great use of the claim here today with Holly Noddle. Gets that big weight swing on Decoration from their last meeting, 4 kilos in his favour, and was only beaten 1.5 lengths at the finish as well. So there are going to be plenty making a case with the informed Holly Noddle that he can turn the tables on Decoration here. Should be able to lob midfield in running, steps back to the mile. I think that's going to suit him after dropping back in distance to the 1400 metres of the Kambalda Cup last start, and I thought his run was very good. There's a lot to like about the setup for him here today. He hasn't won out of turn in recent seasons, but I do think he finds another winnable assignment here today.
The 7 is Big Swoop, second up here today, Raquel Williams and Matty Derrick.
He's going to strip fitter for having that first up run under the belt, but I do think he's going to need this as he continues to build fitness into his preparation and he steps out over a bit further.
Dancing Jack is the 8 for Palmilla Oram and Shani Webster.
Going really well, this rising 10-year-old. He just doesn't win. He hasn't won for 784 days. His recent runs have been very good, but he's going to settle last with an apprentice from the gate, and it's going to make it a pretty tough steer for Shani Webster.
The 9 is Elite Fighter, another second up galloper, Josh Brown and Keshore Jerome.
Was very flat first up, Elite Fighter. Would need to significantly lift on that performance to be featuring here, but we saw him win some pretty nice races at Esperance last season, and he ran 4th in an Esperance Cup behind Stormageddon, so we do know he's capable.
It's a Lance is the 10 for Pete Fernie and Chanel Cooper.
He's clearly come back very well. I thought his first up run leading throughout in the Kambalda Cup was terrific. Was only swamped late by influencing over the concluding stages there. His trial prior to that was super as well. I do think the barrier probably hurts his chances here this afternoon, but expecting Chanel Cooper to roll forward with a bit of aggression to take up a position over the pace. And traditionally he does improve second up, so I could see him playing a part.
the 11, and one of the outsiders here at $126. Jet Planes, Paul Tapper, Brandon Louis.
Drawn a bit tricky and has only been battling in weaker races in his recent runs.
And Strike Now is the 12 for David Smith and Alicia Whittington.
He's a genuine staying type of a horse. He finally got out to that staying trip last start and I thought he was pretty good, so I don't think he's going to be suited dropping back in trip to the mile here this afternoon and drawn a very wide gate.
Runners are behind the barriers, but they have not started loading yet, so we'll get a very quick market. Decoration is our favourite, $3.20 into $2.50 for Dan and Ben Pearce. And Tash Faithful absolutely loves the Kalgoorlie track, does he? Feuding is the next best, is $4.20 into $2.65, now at $3.50. It's a Lance, the stablemate is at $4.80. Rywood, another stablemate there from the Pete Fernie Yard, $11, and higher the rest. Riley, how do we see things playing out here in the feature?
I went 6-3, 1 and 5 here, Tess. I love the use of the claim of Holly Noddle. Feuding gets 4 kilos on Decoration for a pretty small beaten margin the last time they met. So I do think you can make a genuine case he can turn the tables. 3 Decoration in for second. I do think he's a deserving favourite at the head of this market with his unblemished record here at the track. And I do think he's likely to find the front and dictate terms under Tash Faithful. The one uncompromised. He's the class of the race. I'd be putting a pen through that first up performance. He was the winner of this race 12 months ago. I think he can certainly run a big race here and looks over the odds at 20-1. And the 5 in for fourth, Rywood. 6-3, 1 and 5, my numbers here in the Tats Cup.
6-3, 1 and 5 for Riley Morgan in the Tats Cup. 6 on top in Feuding. We'll hand you upstairs now to Darren to call us home.
Okay, thanks indeed, Tess. They are continuing to move them in. 2:45 about Decoration there in the Oakland Park colours, with a few more still required to make their way up. Uncompromised is one of those. Now here's Feuding, $3.50. Second elect in the market, Feuding. Rider of Jet Planes, manoeuvring himself back up there inside of the gates. Brandon Louis. We wait for Dancing Jack to move forward, uncompromised as well. It's a Lance. And the other one over here is High Pressure for the running of the Goldfields Tattersalls Club Cup, celebrating their 120-year history. In 2025, an institution. And today, of course, marks this long run to Cup Day 2025, which includes, of course, the $1 million Golden Saddle. $150,000 Cup, $100,000 Ron Sayers Sprint. All ahead of us, right here in the Goldfields. This course of history, as High Pressure comes in. Red lights now blink on top of the stalls. Up goes High Pressure. They're set to run in the Tats Cup. Stand by for a start. Racing, and the fave Decoration got out best from towards the inside. It's a Lance gathering speed, is going to roll forward looking for the lead. Away well also High Pressure, who settled in front of Feuding. Then deep out Rywood. 3 and 4 wide going up onto that first corner. Elite Fighter pushing up near the rail. They're followed further back by the Ruffy Villains, uncompromised. Jet Planes around them 3 deep when they turned into the back straight. A length and a half away behind them to Big Swoop. Dancing Jack is right back there, and last is Strike Now. They settle down here in the Tats Cup. It's a Lance is the leader by a length over Decoration. 3/4 of a length away then to High Pressure. Elite Fighter nicely placed down near the inside. Back right behind those, Feuding is next as they work out to Charles Street at the 800. They're followed by Rywood, who's been able to get across into the field. Uncompromised is further back down on the inside, just in front of Jet Planes. 2 lengths away behind those to Big Swoop. Dropping out Villains. Strike Now, and back toward the tail is Dancing Jack as they gallop down the side here. They've got 500 left to go. It's a Lance the leader. Here comes Decoration though, being set alight by Faithful. It's coming after It's a Lance. High Pressure's there. Rywood now around them 3 wide once again. Feuding being urged along coming into the turn, and Decoration goes up and hits the lead. Decoration got about a head on It's a Lance in the Tats Cup. 2 lengths Feuding down the outside. Rywood is starting to put in strongly. quickly at the 150. Decoration about 3/4. It's a Lance. Rywood battles away. Decoration. It's a Lance comes back. It's a Lance. Decoration. They're going to go to it. Decoration. Decoration won the Tats Cup from It's a Lance. Rywood third. Feuding fourth. A Gap uncompromised. Running on from well back. Dancing Jack. They were followed further back then by High Pressure. Further back then Villains. Then Jet Plane. Strike Now. Big Swoop well back. And last home Elite Fighter. Number 3, Decoration, the epaulette gelding, ridden by Tash Faithful for Dan and Ben Pearce, wins the Goldfields Tats Cup, scoring from 10, It's a Lance, Chanel Cooper, in 149.9. They were 1-2 to the turn. They've come away here to fight it out with Rywood just peaking on her run over the latter stages, and Feuding was always well placed in running and holds fourth. 3:10, 5 and 6 they are, these numbers after the feature event this afternoon. Winning margin is a neck, a length second and third. Decoration owned by Oakland Park, managed by Nev Duncan, Danelle Pearce, Steve Litton, Hamlin Bay Thoroughbreds, and of course the epaulette gelding out of a daughter of Viscount in Visited, and has now won 5 out of 24, 2 of its last 3, both here in Kalgoorlie. In fact, not beaten in 3 runs on the Goldfields track, which is very quickly becoming a very popular track for Dan and Ben Pearce with this gelding. Beats home 10, It's a Lance by Blackfriars out of Idyllic Queen for Peter Fernie, ridden by Chanel Cooper, and Rywood by Redwood from Rock on Rye for Peter Fernie, and ridden by Braden Garth. So there it was. Decoration, the favourite, takes it out here at the feature event on the program. Tash Faithful, and this time teaming up with Dan and Ben Pearce, gets another victory in the Goldfields. The last event, Specialised Engineering Handicap, takeout number 6 in Magnachine. Let's head down now to Tess, who's in the yard after this victory, and he's certainly making Kalgoorlie a place becoming a fortress for Decoration. It's 3 wins from as many runs on the track.
Happy hunting ground, isn't it, Darren? It's a very nice win. Decoration, Tash Faithful back aboard here today. She obviously combines very well with the Pearce brothers, and great result here, Riley. Potentially now onward to a Kalgoorlie Cup, you'd suggest?
He's a tough bugger, this horse, Tess, that is for sure. Decoration, he's 3 from 3 here at Kalgoorlie, and Tash Faithful just seems to be able to get the best out of him as well. I'm going to catch up with her for a quick chat. She's just hopping off Decoration at the moment, and they'll unsaddle, and then I'll grab Tash for a quick word. But yes, you would suspect, Tess, that is a natural progression after this win here today. It was a dogfight late, and that's the sort of race that this bloke loves, and we've seen him win races in that manner previously. He was able to do so here at Kalgoorlie on Cup Day through the round last year. I'll grab Tash for a quick word after the win of Decoration. Tash, he's now 3 from 3 here at Kalgoorlie. He was made to earn it today, but that's the sort of race that he loves to fight it out in.
Yeah, he's an absolute weapon up here, and you think that he'd be a good chance in some of these feature races. He'll step up over further, and yeah, got a beautiful run in transit, and he was strong to the line.
Were you surprised early doors that Chanel's mount, It's a Lance, was able to get across you and find the front, and you had to take that trail?
No, not really. I thought that she'd have a bit of speed. I try not to bounce him out too quick because he can over race. So I was happy when she come across. I just got outside her heels and he settled lovely off of her.
How did you feel he handled the surface here today? Obviously, we know he's at his best on firmer going, and they have had a fair bit of rain around in Kalgoorlie over the last 48 hours. Did you feel he was at his best?
Yeah, he handled it super. Obviously, it's rated a soft 5, but it's probably firmed up throughout the day with a bit of sun and a bit of wind. It's probably in between a 5 and a 4, and yeah, he handled it perfect.
Feature win, congratulations.
Thank you.
There's Tash Faithful combining with the Pearce boys in Dan and Ben. Decoration takes out this year's Goldfield Tattersalls Club Cup over the 16-16. You'd think onward now to a Kalgoorlie Cup over the 1760 in a fortnight's time. But all honours to Decoration here in the feature. Numbers 3, 10, 5 and 6.